A person can perform tens of thousands of crunches, generating immense mechanical tension and building a wall of incredibly strong muscle without ever making those muscles visible. For most human bodies, excess weight appears around the midsection first. When we attempt to reverse that process, the abdomen is the final area where fat remains. Millions of people fail to change this because they treat the abdomen as a mechanical target. Success requires addressing the abdomen as a systemic biological environment rather than a muscle to be worked. The fitness industry often promotes spot reduction, the idea that you can burn fat in a specific area by exercising the surrounding muscle. However, muscle exhaustion does not trigger localized fat destruction. The body does not pull energy directly from the adipose tissue resting on top of a working muscle. This diagram shows the physics of a draining swimming pool. If you take a bucket and scoop water continuously from the deep end, the water does not create a hole in that specific corner. The overall water level drops evenly across the entire surface. If we recolor that water to represent stored body fat, the biological reality becomes clear. The body mobilizes fat globally. It pulls lipids into the bloodstream to be used as energy, regardless of which specific muscle group is active. Treating the abdomen as an isolated target ignores how the body actually functions. Fat loss is governed by a full-body protocol. The human body prioritizes abdominal fat as critical, life-saving armor. Biology differentiates between subcutaneous fat, which sits directly beneath the skin, and visceral fat. Visceral fat sits deeper inside the abdominal cavity, wrapping and protecting the vital organs. During hundreds of thousands of human evolution, enduring brutal famines and freezing environments was the norm. Hoarding dense energy stores in the core, right next to the organs that keep us alive, was a primary survival mechanism. Today, this ancient programming persists in a modern reality of continuous caloric surplus. While we have constant access to food, our bodies are still executing a survival protocol built for starvation. The difficulty of losing belly fat is the result of human biology executing a millions of years old safety directive. The body enforces this priority through specific cellular receptors that regulate energy release. Fat cells possess distinct receptors on their surfaces that dictate how they respond to chemical signals in the blood. The two primary operators are alpha and beta receptors. This schematic shows a single fat cell with two types of signaling sites. Beta receptors act as facilitators. When triggered, they release stored energy particles into the bloodstream. Alpha receptors act as inhibitors, halting the release of fat. In abdominal fat cells, a distinct biological anomaly occurs. They are disproportionately loaded with alpha receptors, physically engineered to ignore fat-burning signals. Belly fat resists mobilization because it is biologically programmed to prioritize energy storage over energy use. Specific variables in our modern lifestyle signal the body to keep these central energy stores protected. This data visualization tracks the relationship between lifestyle triggers and physical storage. Chronic stress leads to elevated cortisol levels. This hormone commands the body to hoard fat in the central abdomen. When sleep deprivation is added, hunger hormones increase, pushing the storage metrics into a critical red zone. High stress and poor sleep mimic ancient signals of extreme environmental danger. This convinces the body to hold its central reserves. To reverse this process, you must prove to the body that the environment is safe enough to utilize its emergency reserves. A consistent caloric deficit is a baseline requirement. You must consume less energy than you expend to require the body to look internally for fuel. This deficit is most effective when paired with adequate recovery. Ensuring 7 to 8 hours of sleep and managing stress lowers cortisol, signaling that the perceived danger has passed. Nutrition also plays a role in signaling. Consuming nutrient-dense foods prevents the high insulin spikes that can otherwise block the fat-burning process. Mobilizing abdominal fat requires a synchronized lifestyle alignment that addresses the body's internal chemistry. Even with these factors in place, the body strictly dictates the geographical sequence of fat reduction. This heat map overlay demonstrates that sequence. Fat depletion typically begins in the extremities. The face, arms, and legs lean out first because they do not share the evolutionary priority of the central organs. The reduction moves slowly inward toward the core. Because of its biological significance, the abdomen remains the final area to change. While spot reduction is physiologically impossible, maintaining a consistent biological environment creates the conditions necessary for the body to eventually utilize these central reserves.